Today's topic is, actually, I would just pose it as a question. Can you really turn your car, which everybody knows is a liability because it depreciates and you're spending money on it all the time, can you turn it into an asset? And we're going to show you how we did that. I promise you, stay all the way till the end because the nuggets that you're going to get from here is going to be mind-blowing. And I'm so blessed and grateful that I was given this information, or I should say I seeked the information of wealth and knowledge. And it's really completely changed the financial game of our entire family, what we're going to share with you guys today. So I appreciate you guys being on. If you're just jumping on again, just type in your name, where you're calling from. We'd love to say hello to you. And I'm going to jump right into it right now. It's 10 minutes, 2 minutes after the hour. And I think it's important to give a little bit of background as to how this information came to be. And I was born in New York. And, you know, from a humble family. My dad's from Ecuador. My mom's from El Salvador. So growing up, my dad was a deli man. My mom cleaned houses. So we had everything that we needed. It's not like we didn't have food on the table, but we didn't have everything that we wanted. And so you see the kids with the Nike shoes, and I'm wearing the Pro Wings. You know, I had an older brother, my brother Walter. Love him to death, but I would always get his hand-me-downs. And so sometimes the hand-me-downs were 2 sizes too short. And I'd be the scrub at school, sometimes being made fun of. And so I always grew up wanting to have the nicer things in life. And not for egotistical reasons. It's just, if you're going to have something, why not have the best? What's up, Rick Newman? Scottsdale, my boy, high school. How you doing, brother? Appreciate you being on. And so growing up, I always wanted to be successful. I always wanted to make money. And so fast forward, after going to college, getting a college degree in criminal justice, I became a police officer with the LAPD, and I quickly realized that that wasn't about making money. It was about having a job and a paycheck, and I was grateful for it, but it was like more money was going out every single month that was coming in, and I was stressed out. My wife and I were always broke. The credit cards are piling up, $70,000 in credit card debt. We bought a house we could barely afford. We got 2 nice cars, but again, we could barely afford them, and so we were living paycheck to paycheck. And as a matter of fact, one of my wife's high school, college friends, she had married an investment banker. And this investment banker lived all the way up in the Hollywood Hills. And if any of you know Los Angeles, the Hollywood Hills I mean, beautiful houses up there. And that's where they lived. And we lived down in Burbank, in a humble little home. And so one day she invites us over to the house, and we're having drinks and talking. And I'm just curious. I'm like, this guy's not that much older than me. What does he do? Like, how did you build wealth? And I started he started sharing with me some books, and I didn't know really much about wealth. And I think most of us, we never get taught the rules to the money game. And this is why I love to share what I'm going to share with you today, because most of us, especially in school or the family that we grew up, we never get taught the rules to the money game. And how can we win a game if we don't know the rules? See, I played basketball. And I got to know which side I'm going, what the rules are, where the boundaries are. I can't double dribble. I can't travel. I got to know what the rules are in order to win. And most people don't know the rules to the money game. And what I will share with you is what I'm going to share with you today. Some of you may not get it right away because of the programming that we've been taught on how money works. If you really want to build wealth, you have to think differently. This is what I learned. And so growing up, being a police officer, he shared 3 books with me. The 3 books were The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach, The Millionaire Next Door, and The Richest Man in Babylon. And he said, read those books. When you read those books, you'll get a good foundation of what wealth is and how to create wealth. Because if you want to be a millionaire, you got to understand how millionaires think. And so for me, one of the priorities was I wanted to get out of the rat race. I wanted to have the nicer things in life. I wanted my wife to drive the nice cars, live in the nice houses. I wanted us to be able to travel the world and not have to worry about time or money. So literally, I just went on an information binge, if you will, reading over 100 books in finance, in wealth, in mindset, over 100 books in a short period of time because I wanted to learn the money game. And through that process, not only did I learn from books, but I also learned from going to training. Some of you know T. Harv Eker, right? Talk about Robert Allen, talk about Tony Robbins, talk about John Assaraf, all of these great teachers, Bob Proctor, all of these great teachers, David Bach. And so as I'm learning, also started to build our network. And when you start expanding your network, you also start to learn more on how the money game works. So for those of you, this is what we're going to talk about, how we turned. This is one simple strategy that once you get it, it'll change the game for you. But how many of you, for us, we love the BMW, so we wanted to get a BMW, and that was our dream car. We also got a Maserati. So let me ask you guys a question. What is your dream car? If you wouldn't mind typing in there, what's your dream car? If the money wasn't an object, what car would you drive? And I know it's not about what having nice cars and everything like that. That's not what life is about. But if you're going to have something and you could choose, what would you choose? What kind of car would you choose? Yvette's got on there the Tesla. I love it. That's going to be our next car, and we're going to turn that into an asset too. Type in the comments, what would be your dream car? If you can get any car, and we could show you how you can actually turn that into an asset, what kind of car would you get? Type it in the comments. Awesome. Okay, as you're typing it in the comments, I wanted to share a few thoughts before we get in there. Tony, yeah, the Tesla Roadster. Marissa wants the BMW. What kind of BMW, Marissa? Parvez, the SLR McLaren. Ooh, dang, okay, you're going like that. Priscilla wants the Aston Martin. Oh, it's a classy car. Willie Myers going with the BMW i8. Nice, nice. Oh, beautiful, beautiful cars. And so the Range Rover, I love it, Ken. The Bentley, ooh, that's classy too. So one of the things I think that we need to start off with is just some basics, right? And some simple basics and concepts that I want to share with you guys is what I'm going to share with you today. It's not an investment. It's not, it's a simple concept, and it's a process. And the number one thing that I've learned in building wealth on how we went from being broke to now they call us the blue collar millionaires is you must build your financial IQ. There's nobody out there that's going to trust, that's going to take care of your money more than you. So building your financial IQ is going to be your greatest asset. And I'm also going to tell you, don't believe anything that I share with you here today. Don't believe any of it. But what I'm here to tell you is don't believe what they told you as well, because if that programming or that information about how money works isn't working for you and you're not where you want to be financially, then I challenge you to question everything, even question what I'm going to share with you. Because once you see the whole process, you'll be like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. But for some people, because of old programming, they might not actually get it right away. So build your financial IQ. And here's some financial truths, just to start off with before I show you this simple process. The first thing, if you guys would agree, and type in there you agree, or give me a thumbs up if you agree with this one. One of the wealth building strategies is you must pay yourself first. How many of you, by a thumbs up, have heard that, pay yourself first? Just give us a thumbs up if you've heard that. And in my personal experience, the minimum of pay yourself first should be at least 10%. Okay, at least 10%. So paying yourself first, at least 10%. That's what I recommend. That's what we do. We do more than that, but at least start off with 10%, right? Most people would say, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Pay yourself first, okay? Another financial principle that for me would be, okay, so if pay yourself first is something that is a must if I want to build wealth, how many of you just comment in there that you pay yourself first? Just comment in there, I pay myself first. How many of you, maybe you have no idea what that means? I didn't know what that meant for 15 years ago. I had no idea. What does that mean, pay yourself first? If you don't know what that means, you're probably not doing it. And if you are doing it, are you doing it consistently? And are you doing it with the tool or the financial structure that is going to be best for you? Okay, couple of questions to ask. So for those of you that are paying yourself first, here's how the majority of the world, let's talk about America, pays themselves. The way they pay themselves first is usually through a pension plan, right? And pay yourself first is basically taking a percentage of every single of money that you make every single month and putting it away where you don't touch it and it grows for you. Not for somebody else, but for you. So for most people, it's putting money away. They're paying themselves first by putting it into a pension plan, by putting it into a 401k, by putting it into mutual funds. Okay, paying yourself first. Maybe some people take a percentage and they put it into their bank account so that when something comes around, maybe they can put it in there. But the pay yourself first is money that you put away that you don't touch, that grows for you, okay, for your family. That's pay yourself first. Now, I'm not here to bash 401ks or pension plans or mutual funds, because that's better than nothing. But what I will share with you, for sure, it's not the best. It is not the best for you, and it's not the best for me. Okay, go do your history and learn where those things, where they came from and all that. I don't have enough time to go through that, but just understand that is a good tool, but it's not a great tool. It's a good tool, but it's not a great tool. And what I mean by it's a good tool, it's better than nothing. For somebody that's not putting any money away and paying themselves first so that when they retire, they have nothing, it is better than nothing, but it is not the best for you. I mean, ask yourself, think about the most wealthiest people that you know. How many of them do you think put into pension plans? No, they control the structure. And here's what I'm talking about. So, and I learned this the hard way, especially when you start to make a lot of money. Guess what starts happening? A lot of people start coming out of the woodworks. Hey, I got this investment here. Hey, I got this great opportunity here. I learned the hard way. There's one skill set that you need to make money, and it takes a whole different other skill set to keep and grow your money. It's two completely different skill sets. And full transparency, my wife and I, we've made a lot of money and we've lost a lot of money. And so here's some principles that I want to share with you, that if I had these principles early on, we wouldn't have lost over $1 million, okay? Over $1 million in things that we should, if we had these principles. The first principle in putting your money away for you on where you're putting it is, number one, you got to have full control. You got to have full control of where you put that money. And what I mean by that is, for people that give their money to a financial advisor and say, go invest it for me because you know more than me, a couple of problems with that. Number one, they're not going to take care of your money as well as you're going to take care of it. Well, Dave, they know more than me about where to put the money. Okay, I love financial advisors, but if their stack is not bigger than mine, I'm definitely not giving them my money. If their stack is not where I want to be, I'm not giving them my money. Because here's the problem. When you give a financial advisor or anybody, a stockbroker, you give somebody else your money in the hopes that they're going to make a good return. If they lose your money, you learned absolutely zero. You learned nothing because they lost your money and now you just lost money. But if you were to want to learn how to do the stock market and you made some investments and you lost money, you learned something through the process. You're building a skill. Same thing with real estate. If you put money into real estate and you're looking how to buy homes and flips home and you lost money, you probably learned what not to do so that you can improve for the next time. You're building your financial IQ. So number one, you must control and direct your money. Don't give your money to somebody else and hope for them to grow your money. Number two, you got to have at least low to no risk in the tool, if you will, the financial tool you put it in. Low to no risk, okay? You can't be high risk. If money you're putting away for yourself or your future, it can't be in the stock market on high-risk stocks. It can't be in high-risk investments. It's got to be low to no risk whatsoever. Number three that I've learned, it's got to grow at least above inflation. The growth every single year has got to grow above inflation. What I mean by that is you can't just be so safe and secure that you're just going to put money into a savings account. See, if you put money into a savings account, you're getting 0.05%. You're losing money every single month, every single year, because it's not growing more than inflation. So you got to figure out, it's got to be that balance. It doesn't need to be 10% or 20%, but it got to be above inflation so that your money is growing and it's growing. Number four, you have your money that you put away for you has got to be liquid. And liquid for me is I got to be able to pull my money out in 30 days or less. I got to be able to pull my money out in 30 days or less. This is where the challenge comes with 401ks and pensions and all that you can't pull your money out. Even if you try to, they're going to tax on all kinds of penalties. So your money has got to be liquid so you can pull it out within 30 days or less in case, heaven forbid, something goes wrong, the economy or something in the family emergency, and you need those funds to take care of the family. You got to be able to pull it out in 30 days or less. And the last one for us, the money's got to be invested in something. The tool has got to be for the greater good. What I mean by that is I'm not going to put money into a company or corporation or investment that's all about tobacco. That's about alcohol. That doesn't bring any good to anybody. It's not ecological. It doesn't bring good. It doesn't bring anything to the greater good. So for us, it's got to be to the greater good. Okay, so those are the 5 criteria that Yvette and I, whenever we're looking, where are we going to put our money? So remember, pay yourself first, a minimum of 10%, and then where are you going to put that? That's the key. Where are you going to put the pay yourself first? And I'll share with you. Okay, so this is, I want to walk you through the diagram so you fully grasp it. This is the best that I can do is give you a visual, because trying to explain it, you might not get the full thing. So I want to give you a visual. So this is Dave and Yvette. This is our personal home. You can pretend this is you, okay? This is your personal home, and you're making money through your job, through your paycheck, through your business, whatever it is, your investments, money's coming into the house, and you decide, okay, I'm going to put 10% of my money into paying myself, into something that's going to grow, following those 5 criteria. And so let's just say, let me ask you another question. If I were to ask you, where is the majority of money in the world? If I were to ask you, type in where you think and you believe the majority of money is in the world. Type it in there. Some people may say, well, the majority of money is, in businesses. The majority of money is in the Federal Reserve. The majority of money is in the banks. That's where the majority of money is. It's in the banks. So what we need to do in order for us to really understand the rules to the money game is we need to think like a bank. We need to think and act like a bank. Obviously, you and I cannot start a traditional bank. It normally takes about $20 million, and then you got to wait 5 years in order for the government to approve it and all these crazy things. So normally, we couldn't start a traditional bank by the sense. But what if there was a way where you could actually start your own personal bank so that you would never have to go get a loan, a car loan from anybody else, a home loan from anybody else. You can pay off your credit cards. And now, instead of paying all this interest that most people pay to all of these different entities, the student loan, the car, the home, all of the interest that goes out, you actually keep it in your family. What if there was a tool that could do that for you? So many of you probably savvy that understand how our money system works, understand that we are on a fractional banking system. And what fractional banking means is when you deposit money into a bank, let's say you deposit $1,000 into your bank, Bank of America, let's say, Bank of America, they put it into your savings account. Now, Bank of America with fractional banking, the way our laws are designed says they can actually take your $1,000 and actually loan out $10,000 because they have $1,000 in the bank. They can loan out $10,000 for somebody who needs, let's say, a home improvement loan. Where did that $9,000 come from? Well, it came from thin air. They loaned it, but now they're earning interest on the $10,000 back into the bank. It's called fractional banking. So if you didn't understand it, just know that that can work against you or it can work for you. Okay, very powerful to understand. So right now, I want you to pretend that you are the bank. This is where we got to think like we're the bank. Don't think like a consumer. We've been programmed to think like a consumer. We've been programmed to spend. We've been programmed to get credit cards and pay interest and to get loans. Oh, I can't buy a car. Oh, of course I can buy a car. Here's my monthly payment. Let me go get a loan from a bank to pay the car. And now I'm paying the car that normally would cost $32,000. But by the time I'm finished paying after 5 years, it's going to cost me $50,000 because of interest I paid over 5 years. Okay. That's how most people buy cars. Okay. Show you a better way. So let's just say now we decided 10% is going into the greatest financial tool that's out there. And you're putting it into, we'll just call it the Bank of Ulloa. You can call it the Bank of Parvez. You can call it the Bank of Yvette. You can call it the Bank of Joe, whatever it is. You call it your bank. You put every 10% into your bank and you're capitalizing your bank. Okay, I'll share with you what the financial tool is. I don't want you to get caught up on what that is, but as you're putting it into the financial tool, what if I told you this financial tool grows at 4% guaranteed? How many of you would rather put it into this financial tool than just put it into your savings account or checking account? right? Most banks are paying 0.05% on their checking or savings. This is 4% guaranteed, okay? Now you're paying yourself first, you're putting it into your personal bank. And this is a financial tool that I'm going to talk about. So this isn't about investment, not here to sell you anything. This is a financial tool, and this is a process that I want you to grasp. So now as you're putting your money away, which you should be doing at least 10% every month, you're putting that money away, then eventually that starts to grow for you, right? So the next step is, and you don't have to have a corporation. We have corporations, but you don't have to have a corporation. You can do this with just your personal, but I'm going to show you what we did with our BMW, okay? But you can do this without a corporation. We have a corporation called Living Full Time. And Living Full Time, we decided back in 2014, we just moved back to Los Angeles, and we wanted a car. We wanted a BMW. We went to look at different cars, and we fell in love with the BMW X5. Brand new. I mean, just right off the lot. We got the bells. Matter of fact, we got it ordered online. We picked everything that we wanted. It was all tricked out with the lights and everything. 2014 BMW. This was 5 years ago. We purchased it, and we knew it was going to cost us $79,000. That's how much it cost us. And so from the Bank of Ulloa, because we were putting money away, paying ourselves first, in the Bank of Ulloa, we had over $79,000. So we took out $79,000 in the Bank of Ulloa, loaned it to our corporation, okay? Don't worry about the tool right now, and don't worry about, oh my God, I don't think I've ever put away that much money. Don't get caught up in that. That's simple stuff that we can talk about at another time, but I just want you to get the concept. So now we loaned the corporation $79,000 loan, and we charged our corporation 10%. Some of you are like, 10%? Are you kidding me? I can get a better rate over there from Bank of America or from Chase for like 2 or 3% for a car loan, or even at the dealership. Why would I pay 10%? Well, you got to remember, the corporation is ours. Why wouldn't you want to pay more if it's coming back to you, if you're paying it to you? Okay, so I want you to grasp the power of this. So don't get caught up in that. Just $79,000. We created a loan, $79,000 at 10% for 60 months, which is 5 years. Every month we would pay $1,680. Okay, so the money got loaned from the Bank of Ulloa to our corporation, and we went to the BMW dealership, and we basically said, we want that BMW. We got it ordered. It's in. Awesome. We wrote them a check from Living Full Time for $79,000 cash and took the BMW off the lot. Okay. So now we paid cash. And see, 3 ways to buy a car. Most people do it the worst way. Actually, 4 ways. The worst way is to lease a car. Leasing a car is the worst thing that you can do because you get no value on either side. You lose money every time you're paying for it, and at the end, you don't get the car, and now you got to pay it back, and normally you got to pay money at the end. The other way is getting a loan, okay? That's how most people do it. They get a loan, then they pay, and then all of a sudden they're paying more because they can't afford to buy it outright. They don't have the cash, so now they end up paying more because of all the interest they're paying on that loan. Then after 5 to 6 years, they paid more than what the car actually is worth. Another way is just pay cash straight out. That's still the best out of those 3 scenarios, but it's not the best overall. Why? Because when you pay cash, now you paid cash, but you're still driving a depreciating asset. So that's not what this is about. This isn't about just getting and paying cash for a vehicle. Now you're driving off the lot, and the moment you drive off, it depreciates. And if you're planning on maybe 3 to 4, maybe 5 years getting another car, that asset is depreciating, and you're still going to have to save up money somewhere to get your next car. Okay, follow where I'm going with this. So now your corporation pays cash for the BMW. Now our corporation, or this could be you as an individual, you don't need a corporation, actually owns the car. The corporation is actually paying our bank the loan of $79,000 at 10%, $1,680 a month for 60 months. We're paying that loan back to the Bank of Ulloa. Okay. This is how most people do. They're paying somebody. They're paying a bank. They're paying a car dealership a loan. What we're doing is our corporation is paying the Bank of Ulloa back at 10%. This is what's so cool. We just paid it off. Our virtual assistant just sent us the last stub that we got about 2 days ago. because we bought this in April of 2014. We're 5 years later. We're in April of 2018. And this is why I was so excited. I told Yvette, we got to share this because this is so powerful when people get it. So for 5 years, we've been paying $1,680 every single month to the Bank of Ulloa. So the Bank of Ulloa over the 5 years earned $21,799.89 in interest from our corporation. And you know what's cool? And we still have the BMW. So not only did we earn money on the BMW, and I'm not even going to talk about the corporation, because the corporation that we have actually paid the taxes, which means we can write that tax off because the car is a corporate vehicle. We won't even go there. That's just another side benefit. But now the Bank of Ulloa made 10%, I'll get it again, $21,799.89 on the BMW. But it gets better. Why? Well, because Yvette and I decided, you know what, we don't need the BMW anymore. We're selling everything. So we moved to Brazil and we sold our BMW, and we sold our BMW to a third party. We sold it to them for $32,000 and we gave them a loan. They didn't have the cash, so we gave them a loan at 4%. 48 months, they're paying us $575 every single month on that BMW, which is a total of $1,600 interest that they would have paid over the 48 months, which guess what? That money, that interest goes back into the Bank of Ulloa. So we're building up our bank, we're building up our assets. So follow how powerful this process is. Instead of going out and getting loans and paying interest and more money going out and paying other people and building their wealth like the banks and the coalition, all of this, when you structure it this way, all of the money stays in the family, stays in it. We do this with all of our cars. We do this with our mortgages, with our homes. This is the most powerful tool, and this is a process. It's not an investment. It is a process. And some of you may be asking, well, what is that tool that you use in order to build your bank? And I could only speak when you pull your money out to get a loan. Even though we pulled the $79,000 out, because of this tool, that $79,000 is still growing at 4% every single year, guaranteed. Isn't that crazy? Because we're the bank. And with this financial tool that I'm telling you, even though we put the money in and we took it out, just like fractional banking, when you pull the money out, that money is still growing. So the $79,000 is still growing. Not only did we get the growth at the 4%, but we got the interest. And now we got this money coming in, this interest coming in from the loan. And so we became the bank. That completely changed the game for us. For those of you that would like, how many of you just by here have learned something that maybe a new little wealth tip? I encourage you, once you really get, took me, I'm slow. I got C's and D's in high school and college. So it took me quite a few times to really understand it. In America, that financial tool that we're talking about, they won't teach you this in high school. They don't teach you this in college. And as a matter of fact, most of the people in the industry of where that tool is found won't even tell you about it. Why? Because there's a lot of reasons that we won't go into that. But once we learned this process, this is what we do. And it completely has changed the course of our life. So for those of you that this made any sense whatsoever, and you're curious as to what that financial tool is, and you really want to know, not dabblers, but you really want to know, I'm not the guy to teach it to you, but I got a great with you. But send me a private message and let me know. Say, Dave, I'm interested in how to turn my car into an asset. I will connect you with him, and he'll be able to walk you through the whole thing. But he taught me 5 years ago when we just started learning about this type of process, and it completely changed the course of our life. So this is just a piece of the puzzle. There's so many other things that I can go into. Don't beat yourself up, Angel, because most of our programming, it kind of like blows our mind because of all the programming on how we were taught the money works, because we were taught to be consumers. We weren't taught to be the bank. what's cool about this tool. You don't need to have a lot of money. Okay. You don't need to have a lot. Can you do 5,000 divided by 12? You don't need to have a lot of money to start something like this. We taught this to Yvette's mom. She's a music teacher. She doesn't make a whole bunch of money, but we taught her how to start the process. The key is to start the process. I would recommend, if you are not putting at least $400 to $500 every single month into paying yourself first, you're not loving on yourself. You got to at least put $400 to $500 every single month. That's about $5,000 a year. If you're not putting that away every single month for you, for your future, to build wealth, then I encourage you to reconsider where you spend your money. So we taught this to Edith, and she started doing it several years ago. She was just putting $500 every single month. 500 every single month, and she was doing it consistently. Okay, consistently, because once you get into the habit and you do it automatically, you don't even miss it. And so what just happened not too long ago, she had enough in her financial tool that she was in her Vargas bank. Okay, now get this, in the Vargas bank, that she had enough, her and Hector had enough that they were able to pull that money out, and that money kept growing at 4%, and they actually paid cash for their brand new car that they just bought a couple of months ago. And then they loaned themselves the money, and then they are paying their bank back with interest. Isn't that freaking cool? Like, it's the most unbelievable thing, but they won't teach us this. Why? Because they want us to pay interest on that money. So if my mother-in-law can do it, in her 70s, she just started in her 70s, okay? And she started doing it, and she just paid for her car. And now, not only is she going to pay that car off, but she's going to have earned money on the car. And at the end of paying the car off, she's going to actually have the car as well. So I appreciate you guys. So that is the lesson for today. Thank you guys. I hope you got some value. If you got some value from this and you feel a friend of yours or family member needs to hear this, tag them on it. One of our missions in life is to help free people from the chains of financial bondage, to help free people from the programming that keeps people in self-imposed prisons. And little things like this, I know, can go a long way. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. I honor you. And I definitely look forward to continuing to share. My goal is I'm going to be sharing some of these tips on Facebook Live. So tag your friends, have them follow us on social media. And thank you guys so much.